All right, so let's get into something I think we all care about at least a little bit.
Yeah.
Saving money on fuel.
Yeah, especially these days.
Oh yeah, tell me about it. I mean, who wouldn't want to squeeze, a few more miles out of every tank, right?
For sure.
But what if I told you that you could boost your car's performance
Hmm.
and use less fuel at the same time?
Oh, really?
Kind of sounds too good to be true, right?
Yeah, it does sound like one of those like magic tricks
Yeah.
where, usually there's a trade-off between power and fuel efficiency.
Right, exactly. And that's what makes this deep dive so interesting. We're looking at some marketing stuff from this company,
Oh, yeah.
DTE Systems,
Right.
and they make these car performance enhancement products.
Yeah.
And they're making some pretty big claims about, doing both those things, more power and using less fuel.
Uh-huh.
So we're going to try to unpack that and see what's up.
Sounds good to me. Let's see if they can actually like pull a rabbit out of a hat or something.
Yeah, right?
What kind of products are we looking at?
So their main thing is called PowerControl.
Okay.
And it's basically what they call a chip tuning system,
Right.
which basically means that it goes in and it tweaks the engine parameters in your car.
Gotcha.
In theory, squeeze out more horsepower
Yeah,
and better fuel economy.
I see.
So,
Chip tuning's not really anything like new, right? It's been around for a while. It's a pretty popular way to
yeah.
boost performance for a while.
Mm-hmm.
But adding in that fuel efficiency claim,
Right.
especially with, I think they call it efficiency mode or something,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's what makes it kind of unique.
Makes it stand out. And they're not shying away from the promises either.
Oh, really?
Like they're saying up to 15%
Wow.
less consumption.
15%.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
It's a big number. And they even give like a specific example where they say, okay, if you're driving a Golf 8R,
Huh.
you could save 384 euros per 10,000 kilometers.
Oh, that is a lot. So 15%, that's a big promise.
Yeah.
I mean, there have been studies and things that have shown that chip tuning can lead to like small,
Mm,
fuel efficiency gains,
right.
but usually under some really specific conditions.
Right.
So to say that they can get it 15%, like across the board, that's pretty remarkable.
Yeah.
Like, how are they doing that? What's the secret?
Well, according to GTE, they're saying that their power control optimizes the torque at low engine speeds.
Okay,
And so this allows you to shift gears earlier,
I see.
which then supposedly leads to the fuel savings.
I got you. So it's like almost like
Yeah.
it's like your engine has a sweet spot, right?
All right.
Like the RPM range where it operates the best.
Yeah.
Kind of like a singer hitting that perfect note.
Mm-hmm.
So DTE is basically saying that their power control like shifts that sweet spot so you can get both power and better mileage at the same time.
Right. Okay, that makes sense. But here's the part that really
Yeah.
blows my mind.
What is it?
They're saying that you can save fuel without losing performance. Like those two things shouldn't go together, but they're saying you can do both.
So how do they explain that?
Well, they mentioned something called eco-tuning,
Okay.
which optimizes the fuel-air mixture for like better, more effective combustion.
Okay. So eco tuning, which is, all about adjusting the engine settings to get the most out of your fuel.
Yeah.
It's basically like saying they can get more bang for your buck at each drop of gas, right?
Right.
By making the whole like combustion process as efficient as possible.
Yeah.
So it seems like they're trying to like walk a tightrope here,
Yeah.
trying to balance power and efficiency.
Right.
And the question is, can they actually do it?
Right.
It's easy to make claims on paper or in a marketing brochure,
Mm-hmm.
but like real world results could be totally different.
Absolutely.
We know all these things affect how much gas you use, like your driving style,
Mm-hmm.
the type of car you have.
Yeah.
Even the weather can change things.
Right.
So there's a lot of variables there.
Yeah, so power control is like all about, tweaking the engine itself.
Right.
But DTE also has this other product.
Oh, really?
That's pretty cool.
What's it called?
It's called Pedalbox Pro,
Okay.
and this one seems to be more about the driver rather than the car itself.
Interesting. I was kind of wondering about that one. What does
Yeah.
that one do?
So think of it like this Pedalbox Pro. It's kind of like a way to retrain your right foot.
Okay.
You know how you do those like jackrabbit starts and you're
Oh,
slamming
yeah.
on the brakes?
Yeah.
All that stuff that just like guzzles gas.
Uh-huh.
So Pedalbox Pro, it modifies your car's throttle response to try to smooth out the acceleration
Okay.
and discourage those like aggressive driving habits.
Interesting. So it's like having like a little angel on your shoulder telling you to take it easy on the gas pedal.
Yeah, right.
It's pretty cool that they're tackling this like from two angles.
Mm-hmm.
The car itself with the power control,
Right.
and then the driver's behavior with the pedal box.
Yeah.
It's a clever way to do it.
Yeah, it's a really interesting, like, two-pronged approach.
Yeah.
But before we get too excited and drink the Kool-Aid, I think we need to dig a little deeper and see
Oh, yeah.
if their claims actually, like, hold water.
Right. You
Yeah.
got to separate the marketing from the reality here.
Yeah.
That's where the real deep dive starts.
Exactly.
It's pretty interesting that they're targeting like both individuals and businesses with this stuff.
Yeah.
Like they specifically mention, heavy duty vehicles,
Right.
long distance journeys.
Yeah, I saw that too. Makes sense, though, when you think about it.
Yeah.
For, like, trucking companies and stuff,
Right.
fuel is a huge part of their budget.
Oh, absolutely.
So even if they can get, just a little bit of improvement
Yeah.
in their fuel efficiency, that could save them a ton of money over time.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Imagine like a company with, 100 trucks or something.
Right.
If they can shave off a couple percentage points
Yeah.
on each truck, that's a lot of savings.
Yeah, absolutely. And they even talk about how companies could get, like,
Say direct economic competitive advantage
Right.
if they use power control in their fleets to lower their fuel consumption.
it's a good selling point for sure. If you can, cut down on costs
Yeah.
without sacrificing performance, then that's a pretty sweet deal.
And it's not just about the money either.
True.
They also talk about the environmental side of things,
Bam.
like how these products could help reduce emissions and, promote a more sustainable way of driving.
Yeah, that's a big one these days.
Yeah, for sure.
And I mean, while a lot of their marketing focuses on the individual benefits,
Mm-hmm.
saving money, getting more power, all that,
Right.
the bigger picture stuff is worth thinking about too.
For sure.
Like even a small reduction in fuel consumption overall
Right.
could have some pretty positive effects on the environment.
Absolutely. So we've talked about, the potential benefits for individuals, for businesses, but it makes you wonder, like,
Is DTE's claim that technology can solve all of our fuel consumption and environmental problems?
right.
Is that realistic?
It's a tough question, right?
Yeah.
It'd be nice to think that there's like a silver bullet,
Yeah.
but technology is only one piece of the puzzle.
Mm-hmm.
We got to think about the whole system.
Right.
You know how cars are designed, fuel efficiency standards, infrastructure,
Yeah.
and of course, driving habits.
Yeah. Our own behavior.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe these products can be helpful,
Right.
but they're not going to fix everything overnight.
Not a magic solution.
Not a magic solution.
Uh,
It's got to be like a holistic thing,
right.
recognizing that, technology is part of it,
Yeah.
but not the whole story.
This brings up another point, though.
Okay.
DTE focuses on the individual driver
Mm-hmm.
or the individual company.
Right.
But what if we, zoom out even further?
I like where you're going with what you're thinking.
Like, what if a ton of people started using these technologies? Could that actually make a difference on fuel consumption and emissions?
On like a bigger level.
Yeah, like a societal level.
That's a good question.
Yeah.
I mean, it's easy to think about just our own little bubble.
Yeah.
But imagine if like a huge chunk of drivers
Mm-hmm.
were all using this technology to be more efficient.
Yeah, could individual actions multiplied across millions of cars?
Right.
Could that actually help us move toward a more sustainable future?
That's a really cool thought. It would be interesting to see
Yeah.
what the impact would be if like fuel-saving technology was super widespread,
Right.
along with other stuff like better public transit, alternative fuels.
Yeah.
What would that do to the whole world?
Makes you wonder if there's a tipping point,
Yeah.
where if enough people do it, it starts to have a ripple effect.
Yeah.
And we see this noticeable decrease in fuel consumption.
That's the big question, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it's not just about, saving gas.
Right.
It's about relying less on fossil fuels, reducing our impact on the planet. Yeah. Creating a transportation system that works for everyone.
It's easy to just brush off DTE's marketing as, hype.
Yeah.
But maybe they're onto something bigger here.
Mm.
Maybe they're part of this bigger shift toward a future where cars are more powerful, but also way more efficient.
It's definitely possible. I mean, look how far we've come already
Yeah.
with fuel efficiency in the past few decades.
Right.
A lot of that's because of government regulations, improvements in engine technology,
Mm-hmm.
and people just wanting more fuel-efficient cars.
Yeah.
So maybe DTE is like, a sign of what's to come
Yeah.
on a bigger scale.
It's been a pretty thought-provoking deep dive so far.
It has.
We started by asking, can you really have more power and better fuel economy?
Right.
And now we're talking about the potential for technology to change the way we drive
Yeah.
and its impact on the world.
It's cool to think that even small innovations
Yeah.
can have these like ripple effects that we don't even think about at first.
Absolutely. And it shows how important it is to stay informed. Think critically about the stuff we see and hear.
For sure.
And really consider the bigger picture.
Yeah.
The choices we make as consumers and as citizens.
Totally. So the next time you're driving, take a minute to think about like the tech in your car, the fuel you're using,
Yeah.
and how your driving habits affect the environment. Like,
Right.
could you be a part of this movement toward a more sustainable future
Yeah.
just by driving?
That's a great point to leave our listeners with. Thanks for being here for this deep dive.
Thanks for having me.
We'll see you next time for another one.
Really makes you think, huh?
It does.
Like we always focus on saving money at the pump,
Yeah.
but all those little choices, maybe they add up to something bigger?
That's the interesting thing, right? Like,
Yeah.
what if DTE is actually like
Yeah.
part of this change to more fuel efficient cars, even if they don't realize it?
Yeah.
Like each person who uses this tech,
Mhm.
it's like a little piece of a big puzzle.
It's like a snowball effect.
Yeah, exactly.
One person does it, then another and another.
Right.
And suddenly you've got a whole bunch of people saving fuel.
Exactly. And who knows what could happen if that keeps going.
Right.
Maybe we'll look back in a few years and be like,
Yeah.
wow, that was a big turning point.
It's funny. I remember when fuel-efficient cars
Yeah.
used to be those tiny little things.
Oh, yeah.
Nobody wanted to drive them.
Right.
Now you have all these awesome high-performance cars
Mhm.
that are also good on gas.
Yeah, technology's come a long way for sure.
For
And people are more aware of fuel costs and the environment now.
Yeah.
So they want cars that can do both,
Right.
have power and save fuel.
It seems like DTE is kind of like tapping into that,
Yeah.
saying, hey, you can have it all.
Mm-hmm.
Powerful car that doesn't guzzle gas.
It's a good strategy for sure.
Yeah, and whether their products actually work as well as they say.
Right.
At least they're getting people talking about this stuff. Absolutely. It's an important issue.
Yeah.
We got to find ways to use less fossil fuel
Mm.
and make transportation more sustainable.
It's not just about, driving less or getting a smaller car.
Right.
It's about being creative and finding new solutions.
Exactly.
So we can still enjoy driving,
Yeah,
but do it in a way that's better for the planet.
for sure. And it's going to take a lot of different things to make that happen.
Yeah.
Better engines, like what DTE is doing,
Mm-hmm.
but also alternative fuels, better public transportation,
Yeah.
and smarter city planning.
It's a big challenge, but
is.
I'm hopeful that we can figure it out.
Me too.
I mean, we've already made a lot of progress with fuel efficiency,
yeah,
so I don't see why that would stop now.
I think these conversations are really important
Yeah.
just to get people thinking about these things.
Right.
The choices they make
Mm.
and how those choices affect the world around them.
So for everyone listening out there,
Yeah.
think about this.
Okay.
Could your next car, or even just changing how you drive,
Yeah.
be a small part of a much bigger solution?
Every little bit helps when it comes to the environment.
Well said. Well, that about wraps up this deep dive.
Yeah.
We hope you learned something new
Mm-hmm.
and maybe even had your mind blown a little bit.
It's been fun.
Until next time, keep exploring.
Yeah.
Keep asking questions.
Keep those wheels turning.
And we'll see you on the next deep dive.